It's 2 p.m. here on Friday, 29th of July, 2022, with just a couple of days left until the RV21 applications come to a close. My name is Arran Hunt. I'm a partner at the law firm Stace Hammond, where I head up the immigration team. As always, this video is just our comments on about immigration here in New Zealand. It's not legal advice. If you're looking for legal advice, get in contact with us. My email address is in the description down below. Of course, if this video is useful to you, please like it and share it. It just helps us to get the message out there and helps other folks like yourself. Now, today we're talking all about residence visas. The focus will be about the new straight to residence and work to residence visas, which start in September. But first, let's touch quickly on the RV21s. Now, RV21, of course, closes on Sunday night. At the end of Sunday, that is it for applications for RV21. It is the last time you can apply for this one-off visa. If you are eligible but have not applied yet, you really are leaving it to the last moment. And with the system being offline from actually about 10 minutes ago until tomorrow afternoon on Saturday, you may not be able to apply right now when you see this video, but you should be able to hopefully apply after that. If you are eligible, definitely look into it. It really is like there's no other visa like RV21 and what it does give to migrants, which other visas generally do not give. We did find out yesterday that if you came to New Zealand on a CPVV to do your nursing CAP, which is your bridging course, and you are either still doing your CAP or you've completed it but you haven't gained registration yet, you are eligible to apply for RV21, but you must apply by Sunday night. The word from immigration that was sent to us in an email was that clients who were granted a CPVV on the basis of completing their CAP and gaining registration can submit an application for their one-off residence pathway in order to meet the 31 July 2022 cutoff date. They may not be approved until they have completed their CAP and gained registration. So you can apply now if you're in that situation. They just can't grant you the visa until you've gained that registration. So definitely if you are in that situation, either doing your CAP or you've finished it and you haven't got your registration yet, act quickly, get in contact with us. I'm checking my emails this weekend. We'll try and get this all done in time for you to get residency. Now, the RV21, the processing times in general for RV21, they are increasing now, getting longer. It is getting slower. As we've said before, there are tens of thousands of these applications being processed all at once. So please be patient with immigration. And please do not complain if somebody else's application goes through that appears to go through faster than yours does. You cannot compare one to another. We have, with staff being off sick, with delays in certain other areas, with applications often varying in different ways, it's hard to judge it against everybody else. Just be patient and let it progress and keep an eye on it, of course. But in most cases, we've seen very few actual delays which immigration weren't aware of. The system, though, is still filled with bugs, and we don't think this will be changed with the applications ending in a couple of days' time. My issue, of course, is going to be that the same system is being used, of course, for the AWVs and for visitor visas going forward. So are we going to see these bugs appearing in other systems? We'll have to wait and see. Now, looking at the new straight to residence STR and work to residence WTR and the highly paid residence visas. I'm going to use the abbreviations because it's a bit faster to say STR and WTR. We'll mention it now that partners and children can be included, as is normal with residence visas based on employment. Now, there are some set requirements on all of these visas have. The applicant, the main person who's applying for the visa, must be 55 years or younger on the day that the application is submitted. But there is no age limit for the partner. The dependent children must be 23 years old or younger. General same rules we have with most other dependent children. The applicant must meet the skilled migrant English language requirements, which is IELTS 5.5 or the comparison in the other tests. Any partner must meet the standard of IELTS 5 or prepay for English lessons, and children 16 and older must also meet IELTS 5 or prepay for English lessons. This is the same as we've seen in skilled migrant for a number of years. They must, of course, meet standard health and character requirements, as you do with all these visas. They must have or have been offered a job with an accredited employer. So if it doesn't require you holding an AWV, well, mine will come to that, but the employer must be accredited. And the employment, of course, must be for 30 hours a week or more, which is full-time, and be either permanent or for at least a 12-month contract on the day that you apply for the visa. They will allow independent contractors as well under certain circumstances, but not all. Now, that is the similarities between the three different visa types. We'll look at the differences now. But first, we're going to refer you to Appendix 13, the green list in the operational manual. This is where you're going to find if your job makes you eligible to apply for STR or WTR visas. And we'll link to it in the description down below so you can go and have a look yourself. To meet the requirements on the list, you'll see your job on the left side, or at least your current job must substantially match the job listed on the left side of the list. And on the right side, the requirements that you must meet, that comes down to perhaps it could be qualifications or work experience. And some jobs also have a minimum pay requirements, particularly around some IT jobs. Now, the list has two tiers. Tier 1 is those that can go STR, straight to residence, and Tier 2 are those who can go WTR, work to residence. So we're going to start out with a Tier 1. These are the ones that have the straight to residence allowance. If you hold one of these jobs and you meet the criteria we covered earlier, and you meet the requirements in the green list for your role, in the Appendix 13 that lists for your role, then you can apply for residence under STR from the 5th of September this year. So this is coming up in just a month or so time. Now, the second way to get through, of course, is the Tier 2, which is the work to residence allowance. Now, those of you who watched earlier videos will know how much I dislike immigration reusing terms. So work to residence was, of course, another visa scheme, which even now people are still on work to residence visas. That was under the old accreditation scheme, another reused word. So I really wish immigration would just stop reusing terms and just use another term, but we're going to have to call it work to residence because that is what they have called it. So the new WTR is for those who are in Tier 2 of that green list. You have the same requirements as the STR, except that you need to have worked in that role on the green list and meet the requirements of the green list for 2 years. So it's not applying straight away. You've got to show that you've had 2 years of meeting the requirements and working in that role. Now, that 2 years starts from 29 September 2021. So any time prior to that does not count. If you start your job after that, then you count it from the day you started your job. But if you were in that job meeting that green list requirements prior to 29 September 2021, you start 2 years from that date, meaning that you won't be able to apply for residence on 29 September 2023 when you're going to hit that 2-year period. Now, the most complicated part here, and will probably cause the most confusion, is around the visa types that you can have. So this 2-year period can be built up on any visa any work visa that was held prior to or applied for before 4th of July 2022. So you can build this experience up on a post-study work visa, essential skills work visa, or a partnership work visa, as long as it was held for or applied for before 4 July 2022. For visas applied for on or after 4 July 2022, it will only count towards that 2-year allowance if you hold an accredited employer work visa. It's the only visa type that will allow you to get the WTR, work to residence visa application through if granted after that 4 July 2022. Interesting point here is that paternal leave can be counted towards the 24-month requirement. So if you are off on leave as a parent, then that will be included in that 24-month period. Now, if your job at some point in the future is removed from the Tier 2 list for whatever reason, the work that you're doing can continue to be counted into that 2-year allowance, and you can still apply for at the end of that 2-year allowance. So basically, once you start working on a green list job in Tier 2, even if it's removed from Tier 2, you can continue on and apply under that employment. There is a third category for what Immigration New Zealand are calling the highly paid residents. Now, these are people who are paid at or above 2 times the median wage over a 2-year period. Now, as with the work to residence, the 2-year period starts from 29 September 2021. Now, and that is 2 times the median wage as calculated at the start of the 2-year period, as well as at the time that the residence application is made. So, for example, the median wage at 29 September 2021 was $27 per hour. And let's assume that at 29 September 2023, it's $30 an hour, just an assumption there. So the applicant will need to have earned at least $54 per hour from 29 September 2021 all the way through. But when they actually apply on 29 September 2023, they have to be earning $60 per hour. So they can be earning that lower amount to the day before, that is fine, but they must they must meet the double median salary or higher at the day they apply. Now, similar to the work to residence, you need to be on an accredited employer work visa during that period, except if you held another work visa that was granted or applied for before 4th of July 2022. And again, parental leave can be counted in that 2-year period. Now, there is an allowance here for overlap between the work to residence and the highly paid. So if you were working on a work to residence role, but didn't meet the 24-month period requirement, but you then moved to another job where you were now onto the highly paid sector or allowance, then you can still be eligible because the two of them can combine together and mesh with each other. It does allow you to meet that 24-month period over 30 months, so you can have a 6-month allowance in there somewhere, but of course that's all counted from 29 September 2021 onwards. And that covers the basics for this new visa, very much a very brief, quick overview of the rules that we got through the last few days. They should be appearing online. The amendment circular should be available shortly, if not already. There's, of course, more to it, more fine detail, but that's basically giving you a basic understanding as to what you're looking for if you aren't eligible for the RV21. If you are for RV21, you are eligible, then definitely get in there, get that application made, or contact me on the weekend to try and help you out if need be. And that is it. We have a busy weekend ahead. To all of you, have a relaxing one. Until next time, kia kaha and stay safe.